Miami Dolphins. Dolphins with the bye this week, giving Tua some extra time to get ready for a Week 8 matchup with the LA Rams. Some were surprised by the move after Ryan Fitzpatrick had won back-to-back games by a combined score of 67 and 17. Some of us, others not so surprised. Brandon, what did you make of this move? You like it? Fitzy to Tua? Is it Tua time now?
Yeah, I learned something about myself yesterday. Sitting on the set of Inside the NFL, the news broke. And the first thing I did is scream. So, no, this is a bad move. And I realized that I always think as a player first. And I'm retired now, and I have to transition into this full-time analyst. Because as a player, the first thing I would feel in this moment is I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. Everyone in the building, everyone in the organization loves Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick is playing really good right now. He's thrown just a handful of picks. It's not a lot. You check his stats out. He's playing really good. And the picks that he's thrown, there were deflections. They weren't even his fault. There was one where he was trying to make a play when they were down like 20-something points. So I say that because Ryan Fitzpatrick is the guy to get the job done now. But on the other side, if I'm the owner, if I'm management, I got to think about long term. I'm looking at the draft and I'm looking at the other quarterbacks, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, what they're doing right now. I'm saying, well, they're setting their team up for success long term because right now we're behind the 8 ball. They're getting more experience. Those guys are going to be ready to go next year. And our guy Tua is sitting on the bench. Now, here's what I do know by living in South Florida and speaking to guys like Omar Kelly and other people on the beat. Tua is really good. He's accurate. He's a phenomenal talent, but he's just not ready. So what the Dolphins are doing right now is they're investing in him long term. Maybe he'll come in and take you to where you want to go. But right now, I don't like it as a player, but I'm trying to wear both hats, Jenna.
Okay, so I love it. And I have to pull the curtain back on the show for a few things on some of the great folks I work with. First of all, if Jenna's opening read was confusing to you, it's because she was trying to imply without saying that she asked all of us off the air on Monday, could Tua be the starter now? Yep. And we all said no. Fitzpatrick wasn't benched. No. It was he just got it. We all laughed at her, and then it happened. So Jenna, applause to you. Congratulations. That's first of all. Second of all, about Brandon Marshall.
Go ahead.
I love Brandon Marshall. Not nearly as much as Brandon Marshall loves Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick, who hasn't thrown that many picks this year, has thrown more picks than literally every player in football other than Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz. Okay, so that's about Ryan Fitzpatrick. And the other issue for the Dolphins is this year has been the full Fitzpatrick experience. If you were to grade his games, it would have gone like this: F, A, F, A. And then this last week, I'd call it a C against the Jets. He had a couple interceptions. He also had three touchdowns.
That was a B.
Okay, a B, fine. But it's been a lot of very high highs and just some horrific lows. I applaud the Dolphins for this because they are saying they know that there's a chance that the steady-ish hand, if such a thing exists with Fitzpatrick, gives them a slightly better chance to get to 9 wins in the playoffs, as I predicted they would before the year. But that ain't the goal. The goal is to not be a blah franchise as they've been since Dan Marino retired. The goal is to actually contend in the division. And with 2 weeks to prepare, and while the Rams are a really tough opponent, they have some bad defenses coming up after the Rams. And when you see what Herbert and Burrow are doing, they're saying, let's go with Tua. He's healthy enough to play, so we'll take our lumps. So, Wilds, I applaud them for being forward-thinking and not just worrying about, well, what's the media reaction going to be? What, should we wait until Fitzpatrick has us out of the playoff race? No, go for it now, rip the Band-Aid off, and give the future face of your franchise reps and time as soon as he's healthy for it. And Wilds, right now, he's healthy for it.
Yeah, I think it's about the young quarterbacks, obviously, like Herbert and Burrow, but it's also about the old quarterback named Dan Marino. there is some weird stuff going on in Miami. And Brandon, I'm going to put you in that bucket since you're, spent some time in Florida. Like, Dolphins fans are still talking about their old girlfriend that they broke up with 20 years. Dan Marino retired in 2000. You know who else retired in 2000, Nick? Charles Barkley. And we talk a lot about the Sixers, and Dusty, our researchers, never like, when are we going to get our Barkley? I really miss Charles Barkley. The Rockets fired Daryl Morey like, we really need our Barkley. But it's constant. Yeah. It's constant with the Dolphins. Should Tua wear number 13? Oh, boy, it's Marino's. What are we going to do? So it's too much. It's too much. And I think it's less of like, the strategy, and they're looking forward. And when you look, you got the bye week, and it's more just utter desperation for them to rip open the Christmas present because they are so hungry to have their new Dan Marino. They need it so bad, so I'm happy for them. But I hate to break it to you, Tua is probably not Dan Marino. Put a helmet on.
Maybe. We don't know. But I have a question. Brandon, do you think that this was the plan from the beginning, that they're going to wait till they get to the bye, no matter where they are, they're going with Tua, it's time for a change? Or at 3-3, like Nick said, he's kind of playing 50-50. You got a healthy young quarterback. You saw what Justin Herbert's doing. Yeah. You see what Burrow's doing. Let's get the new guy out there. And this was the plan all along. You think going into it, this was going to be the plan heading into the bye week?
Honestly, I don't think you know. I go back to 2006 when Jay Cutler and I was drafted to the Denver Broncos. Mike Shanahan brought us in. We had Jake the Snake Plummer leading us, as far as our offense and our team. The year before, they went to the AFC Championship and lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So insert Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, the little boy wonder, sitting on the sideline, got his nice little hair, and everybody's waiting for that moment to put him in. But we were actually playing decent. I think it was like week 7, and we may have been like 4-3 or something like that. And then we approached the bye. They put Jay Cutler in, and we go 9-7, and we missed the playoffs by 1 game. But they were trying to set us up for success long term. So for me, I don't think they know. I just thought back then, when you saw Jay Cutler in that situation, it was, can this guy potentially get us over the hump this year? Because Jake is playing okay. And could this guy really use this time so he can develop long term?
All right, so then, Nick, let me ask you this. Is Ryan Fitzpatrick, you laid it out really well how he's played. For the most part, he's done pretty well for Miami, gotten them to a good spot, 95 passer rating. What do you think's next for Ryan Fitzpatrick?
He'll continue to be Ryan Fitzpatrick, a guy who, gets some team to overpay him, he'll play great at times. Listen, I love him. He's a great teammate. He's a great teammate.
I'm never going to look at you, Nick. I'm never going to look at you.
You don't feel comfortable
and disrespect. I'm never going to look at you and disrespect LeBron James, your best friend. So why would you do it to me on this show? I'm never going to do that.
Why? What do you think?
I'm never going to do that to you.
Disrespecting him. I'm not disrespecting him. Listen. Ryan Fitzpatrick and Kevin Clark said this years ago, and it's right. The most dangerous players in football. Number 1, Lamar Jackson with an open field. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes with a single high safety. Number 3, Ryan Fitzpatrick in a contract year. He might just kill you in one way or the other. And so I give him credit for it. If he's your starting quarterback, you don't hate it. And so and he's been a great teammate and a consummate pro. But I believe the Dolphins can make the playoffs. Even with Tua as the quarterback. I think the story for the Dolphins this year is Brian Flores and being maybe the best branch of the Belichick coaching tree ever, or certainly since our guy Coach Mangini. And I think that team, they've survived the up and down play of Fitzy. I don't think Tua's highs are gonna be as high as Fitzy's, but I don't think his lows necessarily will be as low, and you're building for the future. And if you look at the Dolphins schedule after the Rams, you got the Jets, you got the Chargers, you got the Bengals, you got the Broncos. You have a bunch of winnable games. So I think the Dolphins are going to be hanging around in the playoff picture all year.
Brandon, what about you? What's next for Fitzy?
Careful. You know what? He has to just embrace this backup role, and he's done that. He did that when he came to the Jets. But these last couple years, teams brought him in, the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Miami Dolphins, to be a starter. So I know Ryan is the ultimate competitor. He came back this year to play. That's why it took a while for him to get a deal done, because he wanted to make sure that if I'm coming back this year, I wanted to play. So I know he'll be a great teammate, but I also know he's not happy about this situation. I haven't talked to him, but that's just me knowing Ryan.